Okay,
Sorry, sir. Sorry.
okay. So let's start our today's class topic of lecture. Okay. So today actually I am going to start from where I finished in the last class, and I have posted several videos already in the YouTube so that you can repeatedly see those kind of videos. And uh, it's not like repeatedly see those kind of videos, and if you feel any problem, you have a chance to see like 3-4 times and solve it. And still if you have problem, you can directly WhatsApp me or give me a call, something like that. Okay, better you WhatsApp me because so many calls it will be difficult to attend. Just WhatsApp me, I will try to clarify your answer. If then also it is not feasible, then I will give you some time. Let's say we'll fix one slot over the phone, say like 15 minutes or 20 minutes. Then we'll come, and those people who have some questions can ask me. Okay, but first WhatsApp me if you have any problem. First you see the lecture videos 2-3 times. I think those are self-explanatory videos. You can easily understand. I tried to make like this. If you have problem, then we can discuss. So today, in the last class, so far you remember, in the last lecture, we talked about different types of restriction digestions, blunt end, sticky end, all these digestions, how they are done. And in the videos, I posted different parameters to design PCR, a polymerase chain reaction. There are several parameters that you have to fix when you are designing a PCR, and several small things that you should know for designing PCR, like about primers, melting temperatures, annealing temperatures, then the temperature programming of PCR, all these kind of things. So today we'll go to the ligation, DNA ligation, but before that I uh, want to talk about uh, a few interesting points about restriction enzymes. We'll quickly go through this first, and then we go to the DNA ligation and transformation. So first, you see, I have, let's go to the slideshow. Yeah. So you see, I have written one term called isocysomer. Okay. I have written one term is isocysomer. What is isocysomer? Actually, there are three slides. There are three terms. First one is the isocysomer. Here, isocysomer. Then in the next slide, it is neocysomer. And the third side, it is isocodomers. Okay. These things may not be, you will be always finding in books. So I have thought it would be better to discuss here. What is isocytomers? They are a special class of or special pairs of restriction enzymes. What we know that restriction enzymes cut DNA at specific recognition sites, especially the type 2 restriction enzymes we use that cut the DNA at specific recognition sites. So normally the examples of restriction enzymes we see, each restriction enzyme cut DNA at different recognition sites, right? Say that is, if the restriction enzyme X is there, X will cut at a particular site. If the restriction enzyme Y is there, Y will cut the DNA at another particular site, something like that we see. But you will be surprised to know that say there are several restriction enzymes, especially you can pairwise classify the restriction enzyme which have the same recognition sequence. Not only that, they cut the recognition sequence in the same manner. They have the same recognition sequence, plus they cut the recognition sequence in the same manner. If this is true for a pair of restriction enzyme, they recognize the same site in the DNA and cut in the same way, then they are called isocytomers. Okay. For example, SPH1 and BBU1, they recognize the same site, CGT-ACG. They recognize the same site and also cuts at the specific positions that is in this G. Okay. So if I have that site like this, CGT-ACG, Then the palindrome will be what? You just put here C, G, T, A, C, G. So one cut will be here and the other cut will be here. So it will be like this. So it will be one sticky end cut or cohesive end cut, but the cut will be like this. So both the enzymes SPH1 and BBU1 both cut the recognition sequence in the same manner. They have the same recognition, cut the sequence in the same manner. So they are called isosizomers. There are other examples as well, but I have put one for our example purpose. Okay, this is isocysomer. Next, we go to neocysomer. What is neocysomer? Neocysomer and isocysomer, the first part is same, but the second part is different. What is the first part same? They recognize also the same sequence. These neocyzomers are pair of enzymes which recognize the same recognition sequence in a DNA. But the second part is that they cut it differently. They recognize the same sequence, but they cut differently. So when I am putting iso, the term iso means all are same. That means recognition sequence same, cutting pattern same. But when I'm putting neo means somewhere it is different. Where it is different, cutting different. Recognition same, cutting different. There are one example, SMA1 and XMA1. SMA1 and XMA1, there are two recognition restriction enzymes. You see, both recognize the same sequence, that is CCC-GGG. C, 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 G, G, G. They recognize the same palindromic sequence. So if I write the palindrome like this, C, 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 then G, G, G. Fine. But SMA1 clips it in a blunt end way. SMA1 clips it in a blunt end way. So CCC. So it clips here. SMA1 clips here. Okay. So it produces blunt ends. CCC, GGG, here GGG, CCC. But XMA1, it produces sticky ends. Why? I am writing again C, 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 G, G, G. Here also C, 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 G, G, G. Fine. So it one cuts, it gives here. One cuts, it gives here. So I am joining this. So it is X M A1. So you see, when this produces such kind of cut, it produces sticky end because this is one part and the rest is another part. So they recognize the same sequence but cut in different way. This kind of pairing is called neosizomers. There are other examples as well. You can see there is a example in my slide, but at least you should know one example. And what is this? This is neosizomer. Then I'm going to the last interesting pair, that is the isocodomers. What is this? Isocodomers. Isocodomers is what? Isocodomers means their recognition sequence. This is a pair of enzyme where the recognition sequence are almost same. Mind it, what I am telling, almost same, not totally same. The recognition sequence are almost same. That is means there is a slight difference, but you can say 90-95% the same. Okay, and cut in a same way. That means the recognition sequence vary differently. Codomers means recognition sequence vary differently, but cuts in a same way and produce the same overhangs. For example, I have taken one example, BAMH1, and this is BCL1. This is first one, the L, BCL1. In BAMH1, you can see if I write the recognition sequence G, G, A, T, C, C. The palindrome will be G, G, C, G, G, A, G, G, A, T, C, C. So BAMH1 cuts here, BAMH1 cuts here. So it produces this overhang. What is overhang? So basically, you see these four nucleotide. This four nucleotide is GATC, right? If you go to this palindrome, also GATC. Now come to the BCL1. BCL1, the recognition site is T, G, A, T, C, A. Okay. So if I write the palindrome, then T, G, G, A, T, C, A. Right? It is now this, it cuts, the BCL1 cuts here, one cut here, one cut here, and cuts like this. So if you see this four nucleotide, this is BAMH1, BAMH1, and this is BCL1, BCL1. Now if you see the main four nucleotides, there are how many nucleotides? 6 total. In the recognition sequence there are 6 nucleotides, but among these 6 nucleotides, these 4 nucleotides is the central nucleotides, which is producing the central overhang. Fine. So one over the this GATC is same in case of 2 recognition sequence. This GATC is same in case of these 2 recognition sequence. Okay. So the BAMH1 overhang will be, if you write the BAMH1 overhang, this will be GATC, CG. This is the BAMH1 overhang. And if you write the BCL1 overhang, then GATC, AT. Okay. So you see GATC and GATC is common. Sorry. GATC is common. So what does it mean? The central overhang is same for both, but it is slightly different because the terminal nucleotide is different. So this difference is the hallmark of isocodemers, and this pairing and the identical central nucleotides are also hallmark of isocodemers. So these 3 isosizomers, neosizomers, and isocodemers are very interesting hallmarks of restriction enzymes. Okay. Then I want to point out one more thing, that is called star activity. What activity? Star activity. Star, this is R. Star activity. What is star activity? Star activity is non-specific or is a non-specific, or what I'll say, mispairing of mismatching of restriction endonuclease with this recognition site. Mismatching or non-specific matching of restriction endonuclease on over its recognition site. Okay, what is star activity? I am just roughly drawing. Say one restriction enzyme is there, BAMH1. Okay, BAMH1. Now BAMH1 has one specific recognition sequence like I've drawn here, GGA-TCC. So it has the restriction recognition sequence here. But sometimes what happens, if you add too much of BAMH, if you add too much of restriction enzyme for restriction digestion, if you add too much of restriction enzyme for restriction digestion, then what happens, since there are a lot of enzymes in the media, so together with recognizing its sites, together with sitting on its sites, it also sits on some other non-specific sites. It also sits on some other non-specific site. It sits on its site first, but since the too many enzyme molecules are there in the media, in the cutting media, restriction media, so they sits on some other non-specific sites. Okay, maybe this site has 40% or not 40%, maybe this site has some 60% or 80% sequence match with this recognition site. Okay, maybe 60% or 80% of this site has some match with this. So enzymes, the extra enzymes which cannot sit here, just go and sit there. Okay, so what will happen if they sit there? there will be erroneous cutting. There will be error in cutting. Okay, why error? Because we do not want this side to be cut. We do not want this side to be cut. We want this side to be cut. We do not want this side to be cut. If this side is cut, then there may be problem in subsequent steps. That is in ligation or transformation or protein expression. There will be many problems. I have shown you in my last video that if the direction of cutting reverses, if the direction of ligation reverses, then there will be maybe false expression of protein, or there may be no expression of protein. So something may also occurs there. So star activity often leads to some error in cutting, which may create some problem in latter half. So it is recommended that you add restriction enzyme not exceeding a particular limit. Not exceeding a particular limit. Okay. So these are the interesting activities of restriction enzyme that you should know before going to ligation. Now go to our next step. This is one example of isocodamers. What I have drawn in the slide. It is given in form. It is given in form of print. If you go through this, you can easily understand. Oh, one thing I also since we have also studied genetic engineering. Now it is one very interesting point is there. When you cutting the genes with isocodamers, can you believe there may be genetic engineering as well? How? There is one interesting example is there. There is one pair of isocodamers shown here. You see BAMH1 we have already discussed, and there is another isocodamers with that is the BGL2. BGL2. Okay, it produces same kind of overhangs. You see here A GATC, GATC. Here also it produces GATC, right? You see here GATC, GATC. BGL2 cuts here and BAMH1 cuts here, but it produces same overhang. Now the interesting point is that now two overhangs are produced. Now when you want to join, when you want to ligate, it may be that this overhang may be joined to this overhang. Why this overhang will maybe join to this overhang? Because the central nucleotides are same. So they have the very high affinity. They will be the very high affinity to form complementary base pair. Okay. You see here, this part, the blue part has come from the BAMH1 digestion. This part is the BAMH1 digestion. Okay. And this part is come from the BGL2 digestion. But you see, since the central nucleotides match and the terminal nucleotides are also from the same enzyme, so the whole pair match and they sit over each other and join to each other. That means what does it mean? That means now you are getting a double-stranded DNA where the nucleotide terminal varied. Say we have initially the BAMH1 terminal where the terminal nucleotide was C, and we have the BGL2 terminal where the left terminal was A. Now if you look at this terminal, the left terminal is changed from A to G and the right terminal is changed from C to T. That means what? We have mutation. We have mutation. This may be either your this may be your nonsense or transverse or transition or say missense, whatever it may be. That's a separate point of understanding. That's a separate question. But there is mutation. So when there is mutation, there will be maybe change of amino acid sequence. So you will be having the genetic or protein engineering. So isocodamers. দাঁড়াও এখন নয়, আমি একটা লেকচার শেষ করি. We finish the lecture first because I am recording. After that you may ask. ঠিক আছে, এক্ষুনি নয়. Okay. আচ্ছা. So after the isocodomer digestion, we may have the protein engineering one. That is a very classical example cited here. Okay. So this is very interesting actually, isocodamers. Okay. So now this part is finished. We go to our next part, that is the DNA ligation. What is DNA ligation? What is DNA ligation? DNA ligate means join. Ligation means join. So when two DNA pairs join with each other, we call that simply as a ligation. That means when two DNA strands come to each other, form complementary base pairing, that is A to T double bond and G to C triple bond, they join with each other. So this is called a ligation. Ligation comes in our third step of our recombinant DNA. The first step is what? Amplification by PCR. Second step is what? Restriction digestion. Single digestion, double digestion, isomer, isocotomer, maybe single part is restriction digestion. Third part is coming your DNA ligation. Why? Because in this part we join our gene of interest to our vector. In this part we join our DNA of interest or gene of interest to our vector. Okay, previously we have discussed several times that this thing comes in recombinant DNA. So now we'll go into details of this step. The gene of insert is joined with this vector backbone. When both are double digested or both are single digested, they should match in their restriction ends. We know they should match with their restriction ends. If it is digested with restriction enzyme 1, then it should be digested with restriction enzyme 1. Okay. If it is digested with restriction enzyme 2, it should be digested with restriction enzyme 2. Restriction enzyme 2. Okay. Here this thing is broadly you can visualize this thing. Say this part is from DNA. Say right part is from DNA. There is a DNA insert. DNA insert means it is the gene of interest. Gene of interest we often call insert because it is the main insert. Okay, it is the small one. It is the small one. And in DNA backbone we call it backbone because it is the vector in it is the large one. Okay, so when they come to each other, they have the same base pairing because they have digested with the same ends. So they sit with each other, forms the complementary base pairing like A to T or G to C, and they like it. Okay, but the thing is, what is the ligation chemistry? The thing is, what is the ligation chemistry? Now, the ligation is done by one enzyme called DNA ligase. It's ligated by one enzyme called DNA ligase. In our recombinant DNA technology, the DNA ligase we use, okay, the DNA ligase we use is the called T4 DNA ligase because it is obtained from T4 bacteriophage. It is obtained from T4 bacteriophage. So it is called T4 DNA ligase. It is very popular DNA ligase to do ligation of two digested DNAs. Now, how it works, actually for ligation we need to have ATP. This is an ATP driven process. We need to have ATP. How it works, this DNA ligase, it has lysine residue at epsilon position. It has lysine residue at epsilon position. You know alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon. If you have the functional group, then the nearest carbon is called alpha carbon, then the second carbon beta, third is gamma, like this. So it has lysine residue at epsilon position. So lysine residue is an amino acid, so it will be having the amino terminal and carboxyl terminal. Now this amino terminal is joined with the AMP. Where from the AMP comes? From this ATP. ATP in the process, if you add ATP during ligation, ATP first eliminates one inorganic phosphate and it forms AMP, adenosine monophosphate. ATP converts to AMP, adenosine monophosphate, by losing inorganic phosphates. Okay, now it forms a lysine NH AMP complex. What is forms? Lysine, ligase NH AMP complex. Now you come to the nucleotides where it would join. Now in nucleotides, here you see, say I have one nucleotide at one terminal here and I have other nucleotide at this terminal here. So DNA, say this is the insert terminal, this is the vector terminal. So I should join these two terminals. So you take, this is one terminal, say this is the your maybe your vector terminal and this is your insert terminal. Fine. So what it does, in the nucleotide we know there is phosphate group, and also in the deoxyribose sugar there is one hydroxyl group. So a nucleotide contains both 5' phosphate and 3 prime hydroxyl group. This is 5 prime phosphate and 3 prime hydroxyl group. So what it does first, this NHAMP complex first forms a complex with this phosphate. This oxygen lone pair is given to this complex, so it forms a bond with this complex. So now it forms lysine NH2 AMP phosphate complex. Okay. In the second step, what happens? This lone pair of electrons of oxygen of the insert is given to this phosphate, so that this bond shifts. This AMP oxygen bond shifts. This lone pair comes here and this bond shifts. So what happens? Now we have this bond forms and there is no AMP anymore. There is no AMP anymore. So AMP again goes back to the medium. So it form, now you see the ligation bond is formed here. There, how the ligation bond forms? From 5 prime phosphate to 3 prime hydroxyl. From 5 prime phosphate of the say insert and 3 prime hydroxyl of the vector, like this, or maybe vice versa. Say 5 prime phosphate of the vector and 3 prime hydroxyl of the insert. So this is the chemistry of the ligation, how it goes. Okay. Now there is some problem of the ligation, that is called self ligation. It is called self ligation. What does it mean? Self ligation means ligation between two DNA inserts or ligation between two vectors itself. We want what? We want, in the previous slide I have shown you, this is insert and this is vector. So I want vector bound with insert. But if vector is bound with vector, and insert is bound with insert, then it is of no use and they will produce false ligation. This is called self ligation. How it forms self ligation? You see, sometimes two inserts or two vectors, one insert have 5 prime phosphate and the same insert also have 3 prime hydroxyl, because each nucleotide has both phosphate and hydroxyl. So the same insert is having both 5 prime phosphate and 3 prime hydroxyl. So when they come in close each other, they form the linkage, like I have shown here. They form this kind of linkage. Same insert when they come to close each other. Or if you take the same vectors, if they come to close to two vector molecules, if they come close to each other, then it may have also formed this kind of linkage. Okay, so this can also produce self ligation. Okay, here I have shown you how the vector self ligation occurs, because you can show we can show you the self ligation between insert here. But how the vector self ligation occurs, you see, say this is the one vector here. I have chosen either single enzyme or double enzyme to digest. If I have chosen single enzyme, then say I have chosen BAMH1. So it is producing two BAMH1 ends. Okay. So now it produces two identical ends. So two identical ends, if they come close together, they will join because they have two identical ends. This is one self ligation. And if you, to avoid this, if we do different enzyme digestions, that is a double digestion here also, say I have chosen BAMH1 and EcoR1 to digest, that means that these two ends cannot come close together. BAMH1 and EcoR1 varies, so these two ends will not come closer to each other and will not self-ligate. But still, if we have two vector molecules, this is one molecule, this is second molecule. If we have two vector molecules come close to each other, what will happen? This one end will join to this one end. This BAMH1 end will join to this BAMH1 end, and this EcoR1 end will join to this EcoR1 end. So there also, this is also type of self-ligation, where two vector molecules, not a vector molecule which is two terminals, but two vector molecules are joining with each other to produce false positive, to produce false ligation. Here no insert now is getting placed. Two vector molecules are joining with each other by complementary base pairing, matching with same pairs restriction digestion. So in spite of you having digested with two different enzymes, you may have these kind of problems. These kind of intramolecular joining of two vector molecules, this kind of intermolecular joining of two vector molecules, okay, is called, this kind of joint molecules is called concatamers. What is called concatamers? Mars. So this produces concatamers, and concatamers is often the product of false ligation. Concatamers. Okay. So these kind of problems may occur where you don't find your gene of interest going into your vectors. They are a self-ligation. So to how to avoid this, we can avoid the self-ligation by means of one thing is called calf intestinal alkaline phosphatase. What is calf intestinal alkaline phosphatase? It is nothing but one enzyme obtained from calf intestine. Calf, we know calf, the juvenile stage of one ox or one goat is called calf. So from calf intestine, one alkaline phosphatase has been isolated. Alkaline phosphatase has been isolated, whose main role is to digest the phosphate group out. What I am saying? To digest the phosphate groups out. That means where it will find the phosphate group, it will digest it out. Usually, this calf intestinal phosphatase, in abbreviation, it is called CIP or CIAP. What it does actually, uh, it acts over the vectors. We usually, when we use the vectors after restriction digestion, before using the vector, we incubate the vectors with this calf intestinal phosphatase. So what it does, it cleaves the phosphate group out of the vector. It cleaves the phosphate group out of the vector. That means now the vectors cannot self-anneal. The vectors can now, the vectors now cannot self-ligate, because ligation means phosphodiesterase bond formation. This is called phosphodiesterase